If you're already invested, thinking about investing, or just want to learn more about Hyliion in general, you need to watch this video. I'm going to cover everything you need to know about Hyliion in this merger deal, and then at the end of the video, I'm going to disclose my position, so be sure to watch all the way through to the end of this video. There is so much valuable information that I don't want you to miss. It seems like there's been more SPAC mergers than cases of Ronapalooza, and I'm not going to mess around too much in this video. We've got so much to talk about, and if you wouldn't mind just simply tapping that like button, it really does help support the channel tremendously. These videos take so much time and energy to make, all the way from the planning of the videos, the filming, the editing, the titles, thumbnails, descriptions, tags, replying to all the comments. It's a lot, and trying to balance it with both my lawn mowing business and my job, it can be a little overwhelming at times, but you know, I love to do it, and you guys are what keep me going, so thank you so much. And also, if you're new, definitely consider subscribing down below. I promise you, you won't regret it. Probably. A quick like really does help me keep doing what I'm doing, and also maybe just watch some ads. What was that? I didn't hear anything. The company we're talking about today is Hyliion, which is an energy company making semi-trucks very similar to that Nikola Motors company. I can see it so clearly in my head. Trevor Milton sitting in his $32.5 million mansion in Utah, just punching the air right now. Just absolutely going ham on the air after Hyliion comes out of the works and steals the show from him. On Friday, June 19th, the merger was announced that Hyliion will be merging with Tortoise Acquisition Corporation, ticker symbol SHLL, and the combined company will remain on the New York Stock Exchange under HYLN would be the new ticker, and this is because Tortoise Acquisition is already listed on the New York Stock Exchange. To start off with the surface of the merger, the pro forma implied market cap of the combined company is over $1.5 billion, so this is what the merger evaluates them at before any moves in Shell stock. Nikola Motors was a $3.3 billion valuation during their merger. This Hyliion transaction includes an upsized $325 million fully committed PIPE, which means private investment in public company. This is money Hyliion will receive from the merger. The proceeds will be used to fully fund the commercialization and mass production of the company's electrified powertrain solution. So not semi-trucks, I stand corrected, powertrains. Honestly, I'm not going to knock them for that. Sounds much better than just semi-trucks. We look at the last line here. The founder and CEO Thomas Healy will be joined by Tortoise Acquisition Corp's Vince Cubbage and Stephen Pang in a newly formed board of directors. The merger is expected to close at the end of the third quarter of this year. The main takeaways from this is the merger valuation is $1.5 billion. They're raising $325 million. The CEO, Thomas Healy, will remain CEO and not run away like Trevor Milton of Nikola, who decided to step down to executive chairman, which basically just means do whatever you want. This news came out on Friday, and the stock gapped up 55% from the $10 range. And if you're wondering why the stock was trading at $10, go watch my Tattooed Chef video, the most recent video I posted before this one. I go extremely in depth at the beginning of the video about how SPAC companies and these merger acquisitions work. This 55% upward move sent the stock flying to $15.93. The stock, however, then trended down for the rest of the day and closed at about $14, which still left them up 37% on their first day after the announced merger, and then gained another 8.69% after hours. I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like we've been getting really lucky with this 6.9s. It feels like every video I'm just chuckling a little bit. These are big moves, but if you're trying to get hyped up, Nikola Motors, the hydrogen fuel cell truck company, who also went public via merger, is up like 400 to 500% depending on the time frame you look at, and it hit a high of $90 after hour after an already 100% plus day. The hype and FOMO on Nikola was insane, as investors were speculating Nikola Motors as the next Tesla. Nikola has since pulled back into like the 60s range at the time of making this video, but I'm going to explain how I can see an extremely similar situation occurring with Hyliion stock. Hyliion's mission is to eliminate the carbon intensity and reduce the greenhouse gas emissions of commercial transport Class 8 vehicles by being the leading provider of electrified powertrain solutions. The CEO and founder Tom Healy's vision for Hyliion started about 3 years ago, which is 4 years ago now because this article came out like a year ago, when he and a couple of pals at Carnegie Mellon University set out to try and create something new, and did. A regenerative braking device that can be installed on long-haul trucks to capture otherwise wasted energy and reduce fuel use by 30%. Before we get into the products and what they do, let's look at the CEO, Thomas Healy. Just to hit the highlights, he's a mechanical engineer. He founded the company in 2015 and has helped Hyliion raise $52 million, and he was also on the Forbes 30 Under 30 back in 2017. They've got profiles for 8 members, but obviously I'm not going to go through them all in this video, and there's also a ton of articles on Hyliion. If you click on the news under the company tab of their website, you know, if you want to do some DD, and no, I don't mean, probably just shouldn't say it on YouTube. If you want to do some due diligence, their website's a little confusing at first and they have a bunch of abbreviations, but I'm going to do my absolute very best to review it and just clear all this confusion up for you. First up, we've got their Hypertruck ERX. If you can read that, this is actually their only truck. You're gonna see later on in the video, they do have other products, but this is their only actual truck. It's really interesting, I'm not gonna lie. Starting off with the features, performance and environmental data informs machine learning algorithms, which if you haven't already, hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm. I would really appreciate it if you do. Machine learning algorithms to optimize emissions, performance, and efficiency. All new software features and updates are delivered remotely. So this is great because this is exactly what Tesla does with all of their vehicles. All the software updates, because Tesla's is basically just a driving iPad. And so when they get software updates, they literally can do it to the whole network of Teslas. Pretty much every single Tesla on the road just gets this software update, just does like a loading or thing. I don't know what it does, resets itself. And so this is really cool to see that Hyliion can have the same technology and update all of the software at one time remotely. They have the lowest 7-year total cost of ownership. The Hypertruck provides a 7-year cost of ownership unmatched by any diesel or battery electric Class 8 trucks. No new infrastructure. Infrastructure. Hypertruck supports your existing service, support, and operational infrastructure. No massive solar arrays or expensive electrical grid upgrades needed. This last one is really dumb. No new driver training, and to be honest, I think they just added this so they could have a 4th point and fill the page. We're gonna talk about how it works next, and you might be thinking,
how does this relate to the stock? Why does this matter to me?
Well, it does, and you're going to see exactly why in just a few moments. Number one, this blue thing here, the renewable natural gas, fuels the generator. And if anyone watching this actually knows and understands some of the science, please comment down below and help the rest of us understand. Number two, the generator charges the batteries down at number 3, and the batteries power the e-motor. Number 4, the e-motor drives the rear axis and provides regenerative braking. It's a fully electric drivetrain, long-haul range, and inner-city EV. The electric onboard generator is cheaper than power from the grid, so which is just power plants. So already we can kind of understand what they do is their vehicles sort of charge themselves and preserve energy as they drive, right? Sort of like when most ICE vehicles today, if you just have your car on and have the radio on, after a certain amount of time, that's going to kill the battery. But when you have your car running and you make the keys go, the engine will end up charging like the stereo system so it won't die. So this is the best way that I can sort of understand and explain this. The Hypertruck can go 0 to 60 in 20 seconds with 80,000 pounds. Deja vu's hitting hard because yes, the Tesla Semi also can go 0 to 60 in 20 seconds with the same 80,000 pounds. The Nikola Semi goes 0 to 60 in 30 seconds. This right here confirms what I was talking about earlier. The Hyliion powertrain is a fully electric drivetrain Class 8 truck that recharges itself by efficient en-route charging. So as the truck is driving, it's using some energy to recharge itself and just get more efficient. I'm in another foreign, yeah. Moving on to the performance, which is where the Hypertruck really begins to stand apart. And they got this sick burnout clip that's got all the truck gang fellows creaming themselves. I already talked about this insane acceleration, and I'm assuming they added this here again just to fill space so the website looks good. You gotta get that aesthetic vibe. Using up to 100% renewable natural gas, the Hypertruck electric power generation is up to 35% less expensive than diesel on a miles per diesel equivalent gallon of fuel. When fully loaded at 80,000 pounds, the Hypertruck can travel over 1,300 miles charging its batteries en route and can be refueled in 10 minutes or less. 1,300 miles. I don't know how far this is off the top of my head. I know, stupid, right? But I will throw something up and I will show you just how far 1,300 miles is. We're also going to compare the range, payload capacity, refuel time, and performance to both the Nikola truck and Tesla Semi, so stay tuned for that. It's lighter than any other diesel or fully electric Class 8. Fleets can haul more freight, not battery weight, giving an even better return on investment. Fueled with renewable natural gas, the Hypertruck can deliver net negative carbon emissions. A fleet of 389 Hypertrucks offsets 100% of the greenhouse gas emissions produced in the entire state of California for a full day. This is big talk, right? This is on that like Trevor Milton level of talk. I feel like this is kind of a little misleading in that they left some key details out. Like it doesn't even say how long it would take the trucks to cover those emissions for one day of California, because there's no way these 389 trucks could cancel out all the emissions produced by the state of California in one day. It would have to take these trucks a much longer time than that, right? That's why I'm not too sure about this, because I feel like they left out some key details and context. The Hypertruck can travel seamlessly in and out of cities that require zero emissions by operating on an all-electric power for up to 25 miles without any performance degradation. So apparently there's cities that require zero emission vehicles. I did not know that, but hey, they got no problems here. We can also see increased electric range can be configured to order. So this isn't going to increase the total range, right? The 1,300 mile range. This will increase the electric range at 25 miles. So I don't know why they gave us the number of 25. I would assume that they would give us the higher number, right? If you could get 50 miles of electric range, I would assume that they would have put that on the website. I would have put the highest number on the website. So I guess this is another question mark. The Hypertruck also intelligently manages power generation, providing up to 85 hours of continuous auxiliary power for in-cab electronics and HVAC systems. Without the expense or emissions of idling, a virtually silent APU keeps your drivers comfortable, reduces fatigue, and increases safety. I'll be happy about this one from an externality perspective. You know, when you're just standing by a semi, as we all find ourselves at some point throughout the day, you know, you're just walking down the street, you see a semi, and you know, why don't I go stand by it? And you're just standing there doing whatever you're doing, and it is just loud as just absolutely blasting your ears by the engine running or growling. You can feel yourself losing brain cells because of the toxic smell. With Hyliion, this all just goes away. Moving on to the emissions, renewable natural gas is delivered through the same existing, keyword existing, nationwide infrastructure as renewable natural gas will approximate 40% of transportation consumed natural gas by the end of 2020. This is huge because Nikola is starting from scratch and has to build all of their infrastructure, all of their fueling stations. But Hyliion right now, they already have a ton of existing infrastructure. They're gonna be able to bypass that whole step for at least the time being and use the money that they're raising in this merger to focus on their products or whatever. Renewable natural gas Class 8 refueling is safe, fast, proven, practical, and takes no more time to refuel than a Class 8 diesel. Renewable natural gas is currently available in 700 plus commercial vehicle filling stations across the US and Canada. With an estimated range of over 1,300 miles between fill-ups, the Hypertruck can travel as far as diesels and more than twice the distance of comparable battery-only vehicles. Feels like this one might have been direct at Here is the map of their natural gas stations in the United States. You can see there are so many of them, and that's the thing that's so great about this company right now, is that they have already established all of their fueling stations and they're not going to have to spend money on this. It's pretty much it's already there for them. So that's everything about the Hypertruck. Now let's compare it to both Nikola Motors truck and Tesla's truck. And by truck, I mean semi, not pickup truck or cyber truck. Range on the top left, Tesla's got 500 miles, Nikola's got 750 miles, and then just Hyliion just absolutely goliaths them both with 1,300. Payload capacity, we've got Tesla at 43,000 pounds, Nikola at 48,000, and Hyliion at 53,000. I'm assuming this is how much they can carry because we've seen the 0 to 60 is off of their 80,000 max capacity. So I'm assuming the difference, that 27,000 for Hyliion, is the weight of the vehicle. For anybody that actually knows how much a semi-truck weighs, that probably just sounded so stupid. I don't know about these numbers. If that's not close to the average weight of a semi-truck, then these numbers might just be completely On refueling time, Tesla is 30 minutes plus, Nikola and Hyliion are both 10 minutes. And clocking in on the loaded 0 to 60, we got Tesla at 20 seconds, Nikola at 30, and Hyliion at 20 as well with Tesla. So just think about the semi-trucking industry, right? What's the most important thing, right? What is the biggest issue with the semi-trucking industry? I would say it's the range. I don't think it matters how fast you can go 0 to 60, right? It can be helpful, it can be important going up hills, this and that. But that's nowhere near as important as the range. And over doubling, almost tripling Tesla's range and like nearly doubling Nikola's range. This is insane. That is why I like Hyliion so much more than Nikola. Both Hyliion and Nikola, these are both brand new companies with a bunch of red flags. They haven't really done much. Hyliion has done a lot more than Nikola, and Hyliion's not pumping their pre-order numbers and saying they have $10 billion in potential revenue when their trucks are free to reserve and they count each sale as $1 million. What I really like about Hyliion is they have other powertrain products here like the hybrid diesel and hybrid class 8 natural gas. We're just going to look at the diesel one. I mean, they're basically the same. I looked at them both. They're very similar. From my understanding, this product is just an attachment for other trucks that provides all the Hyliion technology. And you can see this hybrid system can be installed on any Class 8 vehicle, which is absolutely huge. It can be installed on any of these big players. And this just makes their total addressable market so much bigger because they don't have to rely on selling their own semi-truck because semi-trucks are expensive, right? And if people or companies already have some and they have the option to just purchase this instead of buying a whole new fleet, this is going to be so much more cost effective, and this is what separates them from Nikola and Tesla. Apparently this product is also ready today. It says contact us, so it's different from both them and Nikola's trucks that aren't ready yet. What it is it includes the battery pack, control unit, APU unit, electric axle, in-cab display, aerodynamics. I really have no idea about what those are except for battery and axles. Not a big car guy if you can tell. Here's what Hyliion has to say about this. In practice, the range of a traditional truck can be extended because the system keeps the engine in its optimal operating range, all while burning less fuel and in turn less dollars. They also claim you will save money on maintenance, and I'm not going to read all this, so if you want to read it, just pause the video. Okay, I think now is a good time to say that this company has so much more information and details available about their products than Nikola. Like, I didn't even talk about their batteries. They have an entire tab of their website dedicated to their batteries, and I haven't even gotten into that, and I'm not going to in this video. That'd just be too much information.
TMI.
So not only does Hyliion have so much more information about their products, but their attachment products, whatever we're talking about now, it's available now. The company expects that commercialization and launch activities will commence in second quarter of 2021, while volume production will start somewhere around Q1 of 2022. Hyliion has also already delivered the first of 3 hybrid Class 8 vehicles to Penske. This is huge on both the validation standpoint that this is legit, right? And this is potentially the future. Not only is Hyliion legit, but the market in the niche is legit. And not to mention, this is a huge customer, right? If they can lock down Penske and they can sell them their little attachments or whatever they call them, that's huge. Penske won't have to buy any new trucks, which will hurt Hyliion a little bit. I'm sure they make a lot more money off the whole truck than this little kit attachment, but it's gonna decimate Nikola. Something important about the shares that I found is that there is a 180-day lockup period for insider selling. So be aware of that, as this could be a huge sell-off as they begin to take some profits. Assuming this merger gets approved and finalized, after this 180 days, insiders are free to sell. And so if this valuation looks a little lofty, especially in their opinion, it'd be very tempting for them to start selling off chunks of their equity. I love and hate these SPAC vids because there's no public financial information on them, but I feel like we did pretty good on this one so far. The thing that I've noticed about this company is I don't think investors are going to view it as the next Tesla. I think investors are going to view it as
the next Nikola.
And now that might not make sense because Nikola has literally done nothing. They've made no revenue. They've sold 0 products. But on terms of an investment standpoint, in terms of the stock, in terms of the merger, if they follow in those footsteps, this could be pretty insane. There are some striking similarities with Nikola though. I mean, with the website, the whole merger deal, there's a lot of things similar with them. This is a completely different business model than Nikola Motors. They are targeting the range, right? They've got this efficient, whatever, I'm not even gonna try to discuss it, but they've got it to where they can regenerate power. And to be able to get around 1,300 miles is insane. Not to mention all the infrastructure is already built. They're not gonna have to invest a serious amount of capital into that as a Nikola Motors would. And they can sell to any semi-truck, right? Every semi-truck that's already on the road is a potential customer for them. Not just new ones, not just new semi-trucks. Yes, they can sell new semi-trucks, but they can also sell to the old ones, which I think is just, that's the game changer. That is the biggest thing that separates Nikola Motors from Hyliion, among a lot of other things. But that one right there, that's the money. That's the money one. Tesla has gotten a lot of competition in this semi-space in the past couple months or 6 weeks or so. I don't even know how long. But I personally think, this is a little off topic, but I personally think Tesla is going to be the first one to actually release the semi-truck just because they've been working on it for so long, right? They said it was 2017 they started. And these 2 hot new companies have come out talking all this game and whatever. But I think Tesla is actually going to be the one that comes out with it first, and then they're going to start getting all their hype for the new semi. Just a hunch. I think Elon might want to assert his dominance, let the little kids know who their daddy is. Something huge, though, about these companies that I haven't heard anybody talk about, nobody on YouTube, no analysts, no articles, is the potential for school buses and like RV campers. These companies are aiming for the semi-truck industry, but I think RV campers would be great for this, right? If they could save on fuel, save on that, it wouldn't be as lucrative, right? Their products wouldn't be as needed at first, but years down the road, right? If they've already tapped out the semi-truck industry, their growth is slowing a lot. I think these are two huge industries that they can get into. The school buses more than the RVs and campers, right? Assuming kids still go to school and it's not just Zoom like 2040, Zoom takeover. Zoom's not $1 trillion company. So many school buses drive every single day to and from school. And yeah, it's really not that far, but I mean, they can be. Not to mention field trips, sporting events. This is a huge market that these companies should focus on addressing at least some point in their future. What I love though more than anything about Hyliion is this valuation. A $1.5 billion valuation, yes, it has increased since then, versus a $3.3 billion valuation for Nikola Motors, which ended up shooting over $30 billion as Robinhood investors began to flood and FOMO this stock. This is a very similar company to Nikola Motors. In my personal opinion, I think it's better, but I don't know if that hype is going to feel the same way. This company, though, has extreme upside potential in the short term. And like Nikola Motors, right, I'm not going to write them off. They do have extreme upside. I think they're a long way out from that. I think they're extremely overvalued right now. But Hyliion right now, at this valuation, I like them better. Everything they're doing, I think they have tremendous upside, more than Nikola. Now, I told you guys I would disclose my position in this company, so I ended up buying 477 shares, mostly in my Roth IRA, at an average cost of $13.60. I was sitting on a lot of cash recently just because valuations didn't make sense. This is something where I saw a very attractive risk reward, and so my plan is to begin slowly selling off as this price rises, which, again, in my opinion, there's no guarantee this is going to happen, but I'm pretty confident this stock's going to be higher in a week than it is today. And so I'll slowly start taking profits off the table, play with house money, or just get to the point where I just have a small position just as a spec play. So I'll be making money and I'll have basically just be playing with house money and then just forget about it and see if it does turn into anything. See if this company can execute. The last thing I want to say before I end the video is do not make investment decisions based on what someone else says on YouTube or someone else says in general. Please do not. That is how you lose money. That is how, if like the stock dips like 2%, and you didn't know why you're buying the stock, you don't know anything about the company, you just bought because someone told you to, you start second guessing yourself. You never want to be in that situation. Do your own research, do your own due diligence, please, and just don't blindly follow somebody else. That's all I got for this video. Thank you so much if you're still watching to this point. Don't forget to like the video if you haven't already. Consider subscribing if you're new. Coming out with more banger videos, probably Wednesday and Friday for sure, my regular schedule. I might try to squeeze another video in during the week sometime. We'll see, but I hope to see you again next time.